Hello and welcome to this video on how to complete an end-of-course assessment form, because who doesn't want to do that? Because what fun! What fun you'll have filling this out. Okay, so these are found in the shells. So notice that we are in the English 110 shell, and that's where I find this one. English 111, 112, 113, they all have different forms. As far as the form is the same, but the information inside the form is different based on the course you're teaching. Okay, so let's just look at how we do for English 110 for right now. So for this, I would click here and it would download the file. Okay, and then boom, there is a template. Okay, so here's the template. Now, you have to, first thing you're going to do is put in what section number you teach. So let's say you teach, your first section is section 5. Okay, and if you want to change that, again, I put in red so you can see which stuff you need to change. So there's, okay. And then you put in the semester and the year and the instructor's name. Now, for the student number enrolled, okay, the best and easiest way to do this is find that number on BearsNet. And I can't show you BearsNet in this video because it's going to have information that I can't show because of FERPA reasons. But if you go to BearsNet and you do it the class roster, it'll show you the number of students who are actually enrolled in that class. So let's say for giggles, this has 22 students. Okay, the next thing you need to do is, and you can't fill out this part up here until the semester is over and you basically have the grades all done, because then of those 22 students you need to say, well, how many have them had these different kinds of grades. So I'm going to pause the video here for a second. I'm going to pre-fill these. Okay, and I'm back. So let's say for giggles, for this class, we had 4 students got A's, 3 got B's, 5 got C's, 3 got D's, 5 got F's, and then there was 2 Z's, and there was no incompletes. We'll talk about incompletes, well, just real quick. Students have to basically, it's pretty hard to get an incomplete in a class because that really can only be done towards the end of the semester, and they have to have documentation proving the reason they needed more time. It's just a matter, you can't just, someone doesn't get an incomplete because they just stop coming to class and want to make up the work. No, it has to be like they were in a, you know, there has to be significant documented information. Okay, well, enough of that. So that shows the breakdown. Now again, you can't really put these numbers in until you're completely done grading, but that's just a thing. Now, for English 110, there's one assignment. This is the assessment tool, and it's already, all this is already filled in for you, okay? So again, you need to fill in stuff that's red. Now, here's the tricky part, okay? So what you need to do is, the first thing you're going to do is that we notice that we have 2 Z grades. Now, what exactly constitutes a Z grade? A Z grade is, a student earns a Z grade, as it were, when they stop coming to class and they just have disappeared off the face of the earth and they just never come back. They've totally exceeded the number of absences. It could be, you know, the last 3 weeks, the last month, whatever. Okay, but basically they stop coming to class and they never return. Okay, ever. Then they get a Z grade, and they basically have failed the class, but they've stopped coming to class at a certain point in time and never came back. That's probably the easiest way to understand that. An F, the difference between a Z and an F is basically a student who earns an F has been coming to class and it's not really attendance, it's just they haven't done the work. Either they haven't done well enough of the work or they just didn't turn in the work. Now note, you will have a lot of students, not a lot, but you will have several students who will just disappear off the face of the earth during the semester, and then all of a sudden they'll show up the final. You haven't seen them for 2 months. But for whatever reason, they think if they show up to the final and pass the final, they're going to pass the class. Nope. If they show up for the final, then they cannot get a Z. They have to get an F. That's, again, Z is only for when they disappear off the face of the earth, you don't know where they are, and they never come to class, and they don't show up for the final. So there's that. Okay, why is that important? Because when it comes to figuring out this stuff down here, you do not include Z grades. So the number of students enrolled in this class is 22. Okay, so then the first thing I'm going to do is how many Z grades do I have? 2. So really the number of students I'm dealing with here is 20. Okay, because I'm taking those 2 and I'm throwing them out the window because they're not dealing, they just disappear. They're not part of the class. We're not going to count them as part of the class. Okay, then what you do is you actually look at what the students who did not earn a Z grade actually did on the assessment tool. Now for for English 110, it's writing project 3. So all you do, this isn't their full grade, what you do is you look and see what they earned on the assignment for writing project 3, the final draft of writing project 3. Not the final score for the project, but the final score for the actual final paper. Okay, the goal is to have at least 70% of the students earn at least a 70 or higher. So what I would do is I'd go to my grade book and I would look at the students who, and I'd look at that column of the grades for the final draft of Writing Project 3. And I would count up how many of them got at least a 70 or above. Again, 70 or above. So let's say out of this, again, our number here, our raw number is going to be 20. Because again, we had 22 students enrolled, but we have to throw out those 2 because they got Z. So 20 is the overall number of students who actually we're going to count. So let's say of those 20, let's say 13 actually scored a 70 or higher. Okay, now this is where we got to do a little bit of math. I know math is great. So 13 divided by 20 is 65. So 65% of the students, okay, met the target. So overall, you would say that the result was not met. Okay, it's not like you've done anything wrong as a professor. You're just noting the data here. Now, here's part 2 of this. You're like, well, what about if they didn't actually even do the assignment? Well, there's why we have this extra number. So let's say of these 20 students, 5, let's say that 5 of them, of the 20, didn't even do the assignment, okay? Well, that makes a big difference. If they didn't do the assignment, it's not a matter of we're testing them to see, did they actually, if they just didn't do it, that's a different story. So that's going to change the ultimate, thing to look at. So in that case, 5 of the 20 students did not submit the final assignment. So then, when you factor that in, our new number here is not going to be 20. It's actually going to be down here, it's going to be 15. Because only 15 students, so another way to look at this is that 15 students actually did the assignment. Okay, 15 students did the assignment. And of those 15, 13 of them earned at least a 70 or higher. So Mr. Mathman again. Okay, so 13 divided by 15. Okay, well that's better, 86.67%. So 86.67% of the students who actually took it passed it. Okay, now this has helped us figure out, retention stuff. Okay, as far as the number, these are basically students who failed the class, and they just didn't even do the assignment, but they didn't get a Z. Remember, this is not Z students. And then we look at this right down here. Okay, well, of the 15 students who actually did the assignment, 13 actually passed. Okay, that's the thing, and then that's really kind of an indication of really how effective the assignment was. Here, it's it's a matter of students just not doing their work. That's some different things that are whatever. But the goal still is not met because you got to look at the total here. Again, it's not like you're going to get fired if you don't meet the goal. We're just putting in the data. Now, the next thing you need to do is an action plan. So here you would write in what you believe needs to be done to have better success. Now, let's say that like everyone nailed it, okay, and it was really super easy and we had 100% across the board. Well, maybe we need to change the levels. Maybe we, instead of having a score of 70, we'd change it to a score of 80. Or maybe the target, if they really easily met it, then we would change maybe these things. Maybe we need to change the assignment, okay? Maybe other ideas or suggestions to change to get these to be able to hit this target, or to make the target more realistic. If it's easily being met across the board, then we need to change the target. So this is where you kind of do a little bit of just, a paragraph or two of, you're analyzing kind of what that's all about. Now, at the bottom here, then the next steps in the classroom to improve the student learning outcome. So if you're saying, hey, one thing we need to do is we need to revise, this assignment's too easy, then maybe you click on revise the content. And how you do that is you click on this, then hit properties, and then hit checked, and that would check it, okay? And then something else, properties, checked, and then you can make a suggestion here. But then the data down here, enter more data information down here. Basically what I do, and whether it's right or wrong, I just basically copy this. I copy this information here, put it down here. And you can editorialize it a little bit. Probably don't want to have it be in bright red. Okay. Maybe not even all in bold. Okay. But then you could also, and then, but what I would do is also my comments over here, I would copy and paste down here. Or you can kind of just make an assessment, but don't overdo it. But the real big thing that we need here is the raw numbers, okay, the raw numbers and the percentages. So Yeah, so that's fun. That's how you fill out one of these, and you have to do it for every single class that you teach. Yes. 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 Okay. And again, every course, so English 111, their form is going to look different because they've got different SLOs and different assignments. Okay, so there's that. But anyway, yay! Go have fun. Bye bye.